We've received word of 10 people who are no longer with us, and we believe it's by their own hand. And I'm here to offer my condolences to those who are left behind, to the coworkers, to the friends, to the family, to the colleagues, to the citizens of the communities where this has happened. Because that type of demise is very difficult for us to process. And there's a few things I'd like you to know as you walk through this journey of grief. The first is it's not your fault. Even if you had an argument and you were ugly to them an hour before it happened, it's not your fault. Even if you did something egregious and you knew that it hurt them, it's not your fault. Even if you failed to check on them, or when you checked on them, you didn't listen very well, it's not your fault. We are not responsible for other people's actions. If you're suffering guilt and you wonder what you could have done differently, I encourage you to pray about it and ask for forgiveness from God, from the universe, from your own soul. Allow yourself to be forgiven because you are human and it's not your fault. You're not powerful enough to make that happen. You're just not. The second thing I want you to know is I don't believe that they chose it. I don't believe they chose to check themselves out in order to hurt you. I don't think that they meant to abandon their family or abandon their coworkers or to hurt other people. What I believe, what I know from talking with people who are incredibly depressed, is that they're looking for a relief from pain. Can you imagine being in so much pain that a sudden and complete end to it seems like a good plan? I've heard the act to be called a permanent solution to a temporary problem, which sounds trite, but really that's what it is. It is taking massive action when a little action would have been enough. The third thing I want you to know is that grief is a physical condition. It is something that our bodies express. When we are struck by that kind of loss, our bodies express it through grief. And grief is painful. And I don't know about you, but I don't like pain. Most people don't. And so what I do, and what I've seen other people do is stuff it away. And what happens when we stuff away our pain is it's stored in our cells and it's stored in our bodies, and we don't process it through. Pain requires being felt. And so if we don't feel it, if we stuff it, it raises its hand and tries to get our attention again and again and again. And the more we stuff it, the more it tries to get our attention, and the more pain we suffer while we're trying to stuff the pain away. And so what I encourage you to do is to feel the pain. Now, I know nobody wants to do that. And I also know that when we are bold enough and courageous enough to go ahead and intentionally allow the pain to have its way with us, to allow the pain to be felt in our bodies. And I don't know where you feel your pain, but for me, the pain of grief just centers on my heart, and it hurts. It really hurts. But I know that when I sit with it, and I let it have its way, and I truly feel it, then in a not really that long, it will dissipate and it goes away. Now, I've experienced where it comes back again and again and again, and each time I need to let myself feel it. It's not a one and done project. But when I stopped trying to suppress it, it wasn't as pervasive and it wasn't as frequent. It was intense, but it wasn't like the background music of my life. Um, Grief doesn't ever really leave. Um, the time doesn't matter. Now, grief becomes less background music to our lives than a melody that's playing in the distance. And sometimes it gets louder, and sometimes it comes forth. We can see something or smell something that brings back memories that well it up. And when we let it well up, when we let a tear or two fall, it goes away. What happens when we allow this pain to go through our bodies is that it's released and it leaves room for joy. It leaves room for appreciating that they were in our lives. It leaves room for the memories of the good times to be the thing that we focus on. It leaves us room to be joyful that we knew them. What a gift their life was. What an amazing gift. And aren't we so glad that we knew that person? And then with that joy and with that appreciation and with that love being able to be expressed, we can take actions to memorialize, to honor their lives, to make meaning, even though we don't like what happened. I've seen where agencies do something to honor the people who have fallen. There's an agency that does a fun run every year in honor of a fallen colleague. There's places that have prayer gardens dedicated to that person, or wellness days, a wellness fair where they bring in different community partners, like have chair massages and um, lotions for their hands and all kinds of things to highlight wellness. And so there's different things we can do to honor our fallen. And we can't do it from a place of pain. We have to go through the process. Grief is the physical manifestation, and mourning is the work that we need to do. And mourning is allowing the pain to come through, allowing the tears to fall. I know for me, when I was struggling, I was afraid to let tears fall because I thought that if one tear fell, if I let myself really feel it and let myself cry, that I would never be able to stop. And that's just not true. No one can cry forever. Every tear matters. There are no unimportant tears. You deserve to be able to cry. You know, neuroscience research is showing that we are feeling beings who also think. Where in our society, we tend to act as if we are thinking beings who can control our feelings. It's not who we are. We are feeling beings. And so allowing ourselves to express even very difficult, painful emotion helps us to become more and more human. And that's worth doing. Your life is worth living Your life is worth your attention. Love yourself enough to do the work of mourning. And know that I'm with you. And know that if you need me, you can reach out to me, send me a message. I'd be happy to spend some time with you. I love you.